YouTube, and welcome back to another Digital Magician's office build. After Hurricane Ida turned my office location from this to this, I figured it was time for an office upgrade. One thing we learned is never repeat the same mistakes twice, so we actually had the whole basement area waterproofed in a way where we used stone walling for half the floor, and then we kind of used rubber floor molding. In case another flood does happen, it wouldn't cause so much damage to the structure. What I also did was I made sure I cleared out the whole area and just kind of brought it back to a normal state, blank slate, and then went out and got the necessary furniture. As you can see, I use a lot of Ikea. It's easier to customize the furniture. I originally wanted to go with a sit-stand desk, so I can actually have the option to sit or stand. But in this case, since I usually like my monitors mounted, I actually couldn't go with the sit-stand option. So I kind of went with the in-between option to have the desk elevated more and have the option to move the keyboard up and down. Since I went with this larger desk, I used 3 Alex drawers to hold the 3 sections of the desk. In turn, the desk is actually technically not a desk, it's actually kitchen counters. I actually got this from other Ikea hacks that I saw on YouTube. It's a much more sturdier option, and we're able to elevate the desk a little higher to kind of withstand the flood as well. And it's also able to hold a lot more stuff that I need to put into the desk, and some of the features I want to add to the desk. Building these Ikea Alex drawers is a repetitive process because I bought 3 of them. Kind of a painful process, but definitely needs to be done to support the structure of the desk. After we have all the cam lock screws screwed in, now we just kind of use a little wooden stud that actually interlocks the drawer front piece with the back holding piece. Of course, like I said, this required a lot of repetitive steps for each drawer. In my case, it was about 15 different drawers that I had to actually get screwed in and set up before I could actually start putting all of the stuff on top of the drawers and setting that up for the desk. So pretty much what only holds the front part of the drawer with the back is these 2 cam lock screws and some wooden studs that actually fit into place. So to extend the desk, we actually got these CAPITA legs that we usually use to elevate the bottom of a drawer. What we're gonna actually put it customize the top of our Alex drawers with 4 of these, and we're gonna elevate the kitchen counter on top of that with some additional legs to kind of extend the desk up. This also gives it a kind of a different style and look, kind of a pillar look, and again adding the lack wall-mounted shelves to the top of the desk, like I had in the previous office build, will actually extend the desk up a little bit and giving it a kind of a layered surface look. Simply all I did to accomplish this was I took the CAPITA screw mount and I laid it on top of the corner of the drawers, kind of spacing it 1/2 inch from the corner. And I kind of marked my holes using that, like once I liked the way it looked. And I marked the holes and I just drilled little starter holes just to get it started. And then once I actually had everything set up, I then drilled the actual screws in. all we need to do is complete that 2 more times, and we got our complete Alex drawer set that the countertops could rest on top of. Now, since I suck at cable management, I also got these Signum cable management systems from Ikea. I'll leave a description, information in the description below for all of the stuff. So I got these Ikea OLOV legs, and these are actually gonna sit in the center of the desk. Well, not too much in the center, kind of off by a quarter of each side of the desk to kind of give it some support and some kind of structure and a nice little design to it, where it looks like a kind of a column-based design. So by this time, I moved up one of the actual Alex drawers and now installed the last 2 legs of the main desk. So now I'm actually going to be dropping the secondary desk onto the last 2 Alex drawers. So the hard part is all done, and now time for the fun stuff. By creating the world's first Apple desk. I'm gonna start this by actually first measuring the area of the desk that I want the iPad to fit into, and just kind of marking the area we want to cut out for the section of the iPad. Now this is a little bit tricky. You actually do need to leave room where the charging port is, so that you can run the cable down, so you can keep the power connected to the iPad at all times, so you don't have to worry about it dying. So I actually plug the connector in because it actually leaves a little indentation outward. So and you also need to leave a little bit more room so you're not putting pressure on the wire. And from there, you just actually kind of measure a little bit more. It usually look like about 1/2 inch or more, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And you cut around that area. Now for me, I also have a Glowforge laser cutter.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
And I'm actually going to be using the Glowforge to cut the frame that goes around the area, the hole we actually cut, to actually hide the borders of the iPad, so all we see is the screen. I actually used the center part of that frame to actually put inside the hole to hold the iPad up, and I just used a little, like these little elbows, latches. This is where you got to kind of be a little like even, like balance. You don't want the iPad or the little plate to rock. And I want to put pressure on it so that we keep the iPad still inside the hole while we touch it on the display. Now you can see that area where I actually cut a little bit of added an additional hole.
Hey, you're dirty.
Just for the charging port. It's always good to actually, you can always add more room by cutting. You can't put more desks back. So it's best to cut smaller and then work your way out from those points. Now this is actually an iPad Air 2. A model number is MGL12LL. I'll actually leave a link in the description below on which model. I also do provide the frame, the design for this frame, if you do have a laser cutter. I'm gonna actually leave a link to that in the description below. And if you don't have a laser cutter, I actually can sell the frame in case you're actually looking to do a project like this. Now, using a little bit of what worked in my older office and what didn't work, I kind of eliminated some things. One thing I did like was my wireless charging port in the desk. But to improve upon it, I actually just used a wireless charging port rather than something that pops out. This would be a solely wireless charging port. Again, I'll leave the link in the description below to which one I picked up here. The drill bit that I actually got for the wireless charging port is usually recommended to you when you actually purchase the wireless charging port. But I'll also leave a link in the description below for that as well. Now, full disclosure, this desk actually gave that little drill bit a run for his money.
You can do it all night long.
So I actually had to drill partial ways through the desk and then finish off from below the desk. The solo wireless charger turned out to be a minimalistic solution, other than the one that actually has the USB and USB-C type connections. But this actually offers a nice clean look to the desk. As far as screens go, I usually try to cut corners and save money in this regard, but this time I actually figured to step my game up and get more high refresh rate monitors and more DPI for resolution. And I actually chose to go with the Sceptre screens because these are actually really large monitors, the 40-inch. And I actually reduced down one monitor because I'm using one as a drawing display. And for that, I'm actually going with the Wacom Cintiq 22. So I'm maintaining the screen real estate while also adding by adding these larger monitors with higher refresh rates, just to support the Mac, and also in case I actually do want to do some gaming on it. And for those who actually can't tell from the video, these screens are massive. 40 inches in your face is pretty big. I really wanted to go with really massive monitors because I actually am going to be sitting a little far from the screens because how I have the desk set up. I'm going to be using actual keyboard tray from the bottom of the desk. And I actually definitely wanted to go with something that's actually going to give me the visual feels that I need, but also the actual screen real estate. Also keeping to the theme of the white and the brownish look that I actually wanted to get in the office. The Sceptre was perfect for this. I'm actually happy that the stands were easy to put together, because I actually had to put the stands on, the monitors on the stand first, so I can actually measure exactly how I actually wanted it to be mounted on the wall. I actually like my monitors mounted on the walls for the freedom to move them anywhere. And plus that space, that floating look under the desk also looks really appealing. If you actually choose to mount your monitors, do make sure that you get a mount that can actually support the weight. I actually gonna leave the mounts that I chose in the description below. You can feel free if you actually choose to do anything like this, or even if you have a monitor that's actually something that's heavy like this. I also wanted to go with standard computer monitors because there's disadvantages to actually using TVs as monitors. Normally computer monitors are more clever enough to know that the refresh rate and writing to the screen, writing the same information to the screen is not necessary, where TV monitors actually will keep sending information to the screen continuously, offering more of a slowdown, and you won't get those high refresh rates. Now that I actually got everything lined up, I found a location I want to mount the monitors to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start making my holes and getting the mounts on the wall. Besides some of the desk features, this is probably one of the hardest parts of setting up this office, is mounting two monitors, because I need these to be flush straight across, so it has that clean look. So getting this right was pretty important. The Sceptre monitors are VESA-based mounts, which is pretty common. Most mounts actually support VESA, so this was actually good. I didn't have to actually look too far for different types of mounts. And this also comes with the VESA plate. So just two areas of observation here. One thing I did notice is that the short screws right here obviously wouldn't have actually mounted that down. So I had to check again, because I'm doing this over the course of several days, and I actually found that the Sceptre monitor actually comes with VESA mounting screws. And another area of observation, now this is what really ticked me off, is you probably saw me using one of these long, right here, leveling rulers, because I couldn't find one that actually came with the mount. And then digging through this portion, kind of blended in chameleon style, I found a small leveler. So just in case you actually get these two things, don't, make the same mistake I did. Just actually, the actual Sceptre screws, I actually did remember I had them, but like I said, it's been a couple of days since I actually started the mounts, because I was actually waiting on the wall mounts. So Just something to be aware of.
Hey, you dirty.
Hey YouTube, look at this. I actually thought that this was actually a legit screw. But I actually bought 2 of these mounts to mount these the Sceptre monitors. And when I opened the second box, I noticed I had 3 of these. So how in the hell do you do this? Crazy. The cable management was also really nice for these monitors, as it actually has a little plate in the back where it could feed the wires out from. Unlike the Samsung monitors, these were actually easier to remove and put back on, which actually made it really easy to kind of reach behind the monitors and actually install the wires. Also, having the monitors mounted actually made it easy to move one monitor aside and kind of attack both plates from the back of the monitor. Okay, so the negative is these power cables are very short, so make sure you have a close enough power source. Because I'm actually not very good at cable management, what I actually used here was a little wire cable manager from Ikea, and I'm just gonna actually funnel all my wires down one area and kind of use that to kind of keep them stacked on top of, and use some tie straps to kind of keep my wires tied together. And that's the best way. You might see a little something, but I might be able to block a little bit of the wires with the actual Mac itself. After some extensive and heavy research on APCs or power supplies, I actually choose to go with the APC UPS 1350. I thought this would actually provide enough power for all of the stuff that I need connected. I actually wanted to go with that gaming power supply, as it actually fit in with the theme of the LEDs in my office. But after reading a lot about it, that power supply seemed to burst into flames. If you actually go on Amazon and search this thing, I'll leave a link in the description below for that one. You'll see a lot of reviews that actually claim that this thing actually burst into flames. What's also nice is this one actually comes with all of the tests that they actually do on a power supply, and it actually shows everything checks out. And there you have it, my completely updated office that's actually stylish as it is actually usable. Definitely like if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It definitely helps the channel. The links below is actually affiliate links. There's no extra cost to you if you choose to actually buy any of these items that you see in my office. But it definitely does help the channel and support the making of these videos. So thanks for watching.